everybody. As you can see, we are talking about the maxim, know thyself. Most famous in the temple of Apollo. Okay? Now, whatever you want to call it, maxim, idiom, right? It's not really an idiom. It was known by a lot of people, okay? Socrates wrote about it. Aeschylus wrote about it. Plato, I think, wrote about it. Okay, people, this was centuries ago, okay? And it got me thinking, you know, like when we think about going within and stuff and how a lot of people, they don't, right? A lot of people don't want to do the work, sit with the silence of themselves, right? And then I got to thinking, why was this on a plaque in the temple of Apollo before you even go and see the Pythia? Okay, that was the oracle of Delphi. And if she was this, like, you know, manic, this manic figure on her stool that was getting prophecies by this vapor, right? I mean, the image is stellar, okay? The image with that is stellar, okay? But before you even could get in to see her, the select few, there were like two plaques, okay? One says, know thyself. And then the other one says, I'm translating here from Greek, nothing in excess. So, like, moderation is key, right? And I was thinking, oh, that is so profound, because you go to what do you go to an oracle for? It's the future, certain prophecies, right? Or, you know, is so-and-so cheating on me? Basically, right? You just want answers. And even though maybe, you could find them within. Like, I think that both of them together is basically like saying, if you already know the answer in your gut, go with your gut. And then there won't be a reason to see the Pythia, okay? And I thought that was so... fascinating, because, like I said, a lot of us don't want to do the work for self, for soul, and a lot of us that are doing it, if we are on that self and soul love journey, that's what it is. It's a journey. And as I stated in another one of my videos, I think it was my #mypower video, you can't know yourself, okay? It's like an impossibility. So because you're constantly evolving and you're constantly changing, I believe that the philosopher I was listening to, his name was Alan Watts, and he's got a whole bunch of stuff up on YouTube, and he's just so fascinating to listen to. And he basically said that it was an impossibility because of the way the brain adapts through experiences and assumptions and conclusions you might make, and I'm going to go over that in a minute. So, I believe it's important to know yourself in this moment type of a sense, okay? And I believe that, like, because it's an impossibility, there are steps that you can take to pretty much know who you are in the moment. And if you want to keep doing the exercise, keep asking yourself the general questions, then I think that those are like great exercises to keep you on the self-love, self-journey, okay? To remind yourself to go within, okay? And I think a lot of that message, like the Pythia, I believe that it's kind of like the high priestess in tarot. She's so still, right? And she wants you to go within, and she's like, you know what? If you were to just go with your gut here, what's behind the veil won't matter, because you already know, right? That's kind of what I get from that. Now, like I said, like general questions, right? Excuse me. Now, I've come up, how many questions did I come up with? 10 questions that you can ask yourself, and you can ask yourself now, and you can continue to do these types of interviews continuously, because like philosophers say, you're constantly changing, right? Your brain is evolving. I've come up with these questions, like I said, 10, as a way to interview yourself, okay? Like, we're trying to be, and okay, I want to disclose something right here. We're trying to be objective, okay? Put the mask down for a second, and if you don't have the answer right away, then it could be something. Here's a trick that your brain does. I say, don't think about pink elephants. That's going to be automatically what you think about all day, right? And so that's just your brain's way of saying, is this our thought patterning? Is this where we need to go? Is this what we need to be thinking about? Yada, yada, yada. It's just your brain's way of rationalizing and compartmentalizing the thoughts that you get. Like, is this relevant? Is this not? Things like that. I believe that's how the brain works. So, because I've had this happen to me. Somebody shouts out something or a music lyric, and it just stays in your brain because your brain's like, wait a minute, we don't know which file to put this under. So, it's okay if you don't have the answers right away. Some of these are going to be questions that, to me, you may not ever have an answer for, and that's okay. I think that the benefit of knowing the answers and just being in a state of asking yourself the question is enough of work. Like, putting it in your brain, let your brain do the work, right? If you ask the question and say you don't know it on a conscious level, subconsciously your brain's just gonna try to file that down for you, right? And maybe it'll come in form of images like archetypes. Maybe it'll come in the form of a tarot reading. The answers and the questions and all, they'll come, right? But I want to go over the 10 questions. I got my handy dandy notebook here. I actually have it okay, let's get all my hair out of the way. And I'm going to drink some coffee while I go over these questions, because it's just tempting me over in this corner. All right. I'm not going to answer these questions, because these aren't get to know Lennon questions. These are questions that I might not even have the answer to myself. These are questions that I have in my journals. If I want to dive one day, I'll plug one of these questions in, or 5 of them, right? Depending on how much time I have. So, number 1. What is your favorite thing to do right now in your life? Your absolute favorite thing. And I don't want your brain's going to do this. Like, oh, this is what I liked to do as a kid, No. Stop. Right now. Think about the last 5 days. What was your favorite thing to do in the last 5 days? That's basically what I like to do with that is just say, in the moment, right? You could even say today. What was my favorite thing I did today? And it's a act, okay? You're stating what your favorite thing to do is, okay? That's important. Why? Okay? We need to connect to ourselves in a way that will keep, not all the time, folks, because it's never going to happen that way, but we do need to do things that just releases those endorphins, right? And I believe that's a healing thing. Like laughing, right? That could be the best thing you do, right? Or your favorite thing to do is laugh. It just kind of puts in your brain oh, I really like to do that. And you didn't even think about it. It was just, that happened to be your favorite thing. You're like, you know what? I need to add more of that in my life. That's why it's important. Okay, number 2. Now we're getting into childhood, okay? What was your childhood dream? I could tell you mine, because that's not really too personal. Anyway, I said I wasn't going to do that. Maybe I'll make another video. I am making an inner child. I'm working on an inner child video, so we'll see where that goes. What was your childhood dream? Okay. I will say what my childhood dream is, or was, or whatever, is still what I consider my dream job. I'll say that. Like, I don't even think that my childhood dream is like I could turn that into a career. But just goes to show how wacky my brain is, okay? Let's move on. Do you respond actively to failure or success? Woo, that is a tough one. Like, you know, okay? 1,001 ways to not make a light bulb, right? Do you respond? What motivates you? Praise? You know, constant success, and then that's how you climb the ladder? Or is it the mistakes, and not really mistakes, okay? But your failures, right? Small or large. And that's what pulls you up the ladder, okay? The ladder being an expression. In whatever job you are, have, or even in life, right? The failures, failure in relationships, failure in jobs, whatever, okay? All of it. Your failures bring you up, or does success bring you up? Figure it out. That is an excellent question, okay? And then you can go back and think of what are some of my successes versus what are some of my failures, and then figure out which one kind of motivated you to get over the hump of each one, kind of thing. I think that's very important, okay? Okay. Here is a question that I ask myself all the time. How would you spend your time if money wasn't an object? Full bank account. Full pocketbook, okay? No amount of money, you just have it. Whatever. And I don't want to know what your dream car or your dream house or none of that. The question is, how would you spend your time? What would you be doing? Okay? This could kind of tie into your favorite thing you did in the moment, but I believe that this is bigger. Okay? I want to know what you would do. Okay? Let's say, are you like all encompassing? Are you healing people? Do you want to heal people? Right? Do you just want to read books? Do you just want to, journal, right? Do you just want to make art, right? Like, whatever. How would you spend your time in like a total sense, like in an all day, if you didn't have to make money? If you could ask your elderly self one question, what would it be? Old. You're old. Okay? I like to reword this. I like to say, because when I was young, okay, probably too young people, I read a newspaper article about like these 100 people on their deathbeds were getting interviewed and what was their biggest regret. And I said that in another video, but that really, I still think about the article today. And so I reword that question to what's one question I would ask my elderly self on her deathbed. She's on her deathbed, I'm saying goodbye to her, whatever. And I'm like sitting there holding her hand. What do I ask her? What is that one question? I've got time for one. What do I ask? And I think because of that interview, I want to put that on there because I feel like that's automatically making my brain go, I have no time to really ask all kinds of the questions that I want to. It narrows it down to where I only have time for one. What's important to me right now to ask her? And sometimes it changes. The question will change as I get older, right? Because I feel like I'm almost meeting her as I get older, right? I'm constantly in a different stage, right? Closer to her, one step closer to her. So the question sometimes changes, and that's okay. Okay? Okay. Now the next question is like, I'll call it a morality question. Okay? I feel like it's very simple for us to pass judgments and figure out, like, I think that old question, like that moral question, like, would you save the baby or 100 people on the train track, right? Whatever. This question does not have any kind of duality. Do not let your brain go to the good. I want to know. I don't want to know. Okay, your soul wants to know. Whatever. What do you consider truly evil? That's going to be a hard question, folks. Okay? It's going to be a tough one. Because you're like, okay, because your brain's going to start asking you, well, is this, someone killing someone? That's evil. Well, what if he's a vigilante, right? What if he's saving people with that kill, right? Whatever. Your brain is going to just keep doing this. And you have to let it. Because the rub is you need to know your base moral. Your base moral does not come from a place like, are you morally white, morally black, gray, whatever. And you need to know what you consider truly evil. And I think that is a good map. You can branch off of that, okay? And eventually you can add the good in there, right? But I want to know what you consider to be freaking morally black, okay? Way over here in this side of the spectrum. That has nothing to do with how white or gray you are or how evil you are. This is not about you. This is what you consider to be way over here. What's the worst thing you think it could happen? Way over here, okay? And again, I didn't want to put a duality on that because everyone's different in a way that we kind of bloom out like flowers, right? And we're all different, okay? But if you knew what's way over there on the spectrum, okay, I believe that kind of, it's like almost helps your instincts to know, right? It's those survival instincts, okay? Some of us are blessed. We don't ever have to use those instincts, okay? In the moment, when something happens to you, you need to know yourself and you need to know whether or not that's evil. And I think that helps us form relationships too. Knowing the difference, whatever, okay? Moving on. We could talk about evilness all day. This next question is another all-encompassing question. And I want you to be totally objective. Do you consider yourself healthy? Now we all get up. We all go to work. We all go to sleep. We all drink coffee, right? We're doing the things day to day. This is a listen to your body question. Do you consider yourself in good health? And then if you really think about it and you're like, such and such has been bothering me. This tooth has been bothering me. Whatever, okay? This is like health in a total, okay? Anything that you can think of that involves your health. Do you consider yourself healthy? And it's going to be hard to be objective because you're like, oh yeah, I've got this. I got this. I woke up good this morning. You know, it's going to be hard to be objective, people. Okay. Okay. I keep saying this next question because I read the question and I'm like, ooh, what are your views on power? Okay. We're not wielding the power. We're not doing anything with the power. What are your views on power? It's kind of like evilness. Like, this is a hierarchy question. Okay. It's a humility question. I believe there's a fine line between having too much power and being humble. Okay. Almost to the sense like if you get so much power, are you going to remember where you came from? Okay. Kind of think back on when was the last time you had to eat humble pie? How did that make you feel? That's basically getting knocked down off your pedestal, right? How do you feel about being on the pedestal? That was crazy. What was that? How do you feel about being up there? How do you feel about getting knocked off? How do you feel about getting your foot in your mouth? Good question. Now, here's another question that does not involve duality, okay? We're not talking Tai Chi here, okay? The roots and the sky. We're just talking about the roots. What is holding you here? What is your main root system, okay? A lot of people say it's someone else, like their significant other or their children or whatever, okay? What's keeping you here? What's keeping you working? What's keeping you put together, right? If anything. Okay? I hope we all have a root system. And we're not just kind of, our trees not just kind of floating out in the void. I hope that that's the case. Or I hope you're not that. But I kind of feel like this is a hot air balloon. And you have that one string. Okay? Maybe several. Maybe. This is your question. What's holding you, what's, preventing you from just flying off to the ether? What's holding you to this plane? Because something probably is. And it'll probably be eye-opening to figure it out. To figure out what your string is for this hot air balloon. That is you. And then, okay, that kind of ties in to the next question. If someone out there or something out there was going to use something against you, this is using it against you, what would be their weapon? Again, a lot of people say their kids or their significant other or, maybe a favorite thing, like a material object. I don't know, okay? Again, this is your question. But if someone, okay, in a horror movie was trying to use something against you to get information, right, to extract you to something, what would be their greatest weapon? Again, this could be eye-opening, right? You have no idea where it's going to go. So, ask yourself that question. I feel like you can't ever know yourself. But if you plug these questions, even a couple, into a journal somewhere, okay? Collage about it. Write about it. Write a letter to yourself, right? That could kind of be like you're interviewing yourself. Like write it out like you're writing an interview with a newspaper. Totally objective, okay? Try to do it in a way that you can be objective. Whatever you have to do to be objective, do it. Plug these in somewhere. Sometimes, like I said, they'll come in form of images, or they'll come in form of archetypes, or they'll come in form of an answer in a tarot reading, or even intuition, where you get answers and then you're like, wait a minute, I don't remember what the question was. And then you look down and you're like, oh, well, question number 3 is blah, blah, blah. I just got that image. It keeps coming up, right? Maybe that's the answer. Maybe I should dive into that. Okay, so that is all the questions. I have left them in a file for you to download. Do with that with what you will. And not that you'll ever get down to the 100% of it, but I feel the work is important. The work is the key. And I love researching ways I can work at it, different ways I can work at it, so it doesn't become stagnant, right? So I can keep working on it, and I don't feel like I'm going to get into a rut with the work, okay? So when I came up with these 10 questions, it was kind of eye-opening for me, myself as well. And I like to do stuff like that. So come back in a couple of weeks, and I'll have yet another get to know me or let's get to know ourselves video, okay? Much love.